Now, God forbid, Tom.
Yes.
But let's just say you suspected that your partner was cheating on you.
Okay.
Would you consider hiring a honey trap to try and confirm those suspicions?
Hiring a honey trap.
So hiring someone who's potentially attractive, a little bit sexy to trick them into, or to kind of message them and be like, are you up for it? To see if they'd say, yes, I'm up for it.
Tom Harris loves a plan, loves a scheme, loves a plot, loves all those things. However, I don't think I would. It seems too much bother for me, too much. I think I'd rather just be more direct rather than scheming,
but what
dancing
if they,
around
okay, then what if we've progressed to the fact where they've said several times, I'm not cheating on you, you're insane, I'm going to gaslight you, but they're not going to say that, but they're basically, you have a feeling deep in your gut that it's happening, but you've been reassured over and over again that it's not. Would you cross that line then?
I think on the right day with the right alcohol blood level, I think there is a timeline or a multiverse where I could do that. So you're describing the honey trap as someone messages them online, someone separately
sneaks into their
says,
DMs and starts telling them that they're attractive and you want to go on a date and blah blah blah.
I don't know. It's very sneaky, obviously with good reason if you're trying to get to the. So tentative, yes, but in general, no.
Yeah, I think with me, I feel like if the person is cheating, then they're probably cheating with someone specific, so they may not respond to the honey trap.
Yeah.
I look, I'm the person that people come to when they go, I need evidence of XYZ, what do you got? And I don't do anything naughty, I don't do any hacking, I don't get into anyone's private business, but I'm very, very good at looking at clues on Instagram or on, like if they've posted a story at the same time as someone else posted a story and they were very close to each other, even though they said they were different places.
Yeah,
I'm a good dating detective. So I think I'd try and engage someone like me first, because then I don't want it to be entrapment,
Yes.
I know people who've done this, and I know people who have been very upset with the results, but also you've got no proof that they would have cheated had someone not been all up in their business trying to make them cheat. I think it's a real fine line between entrapment and...
Certainly interesting. I don't know. I'm curious. Has anyone ever tried to do that? Has anyone said to a friend or a stranger online, an attractive stranger, hey, can you pretend to hit on my partner for me online? Please send that in a story.
I'm putting it on my little list right now.
An anecdote to ghostsofboyfriendspast@gmail.com. As we ponder this question, hello one, hello all, welcome to the show. It's Ghosts of Boyfriends Past with Elizabeth Best and Tom Harris over here.
That's us. And today it's a main episode, but we do not have a guest. But this means... Because, see, the last time we did this, we had producer Zane online.
Yes.
So this is a bit of a part 2. Now, you'll remember that we had Cindy and the Swingerverse is the original episode where we went through a couple of stories of what it's like to be part of the swinging community. And you'll remember that we ran out of time to do all of them. So today, we're welcoming Zane C. Weber to the microphone.
I'm back. You can't get rid of me.
You can't get rid of him, and we would not want to, because the podcast would fall apart without him pressing buttons and knowing how to do the uploads.
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk more about some swinging.
I don't want to put too much of a pause on it. I just want to swap that opening question around. And what if your partner thought you were cheating and hired a honey trap on you?
Rude. How dare they?
Yeah, and you found out about it and you weren't cheating.
If I wasn't cheating and they'd asked me about it first, and I had already addressed it, I'd be pretty offended.
Is that a extinction level event? If they hire a honey trap?
Probably wear the badge of, see, I'm loyal, fuck you, for a little while until I do something else that pisses me off. I don't know. That's hard. Yeah, I'll put that in the group as well. Like if you found out that someone had hired someone to find out if you were cheating or deliberately tempt you, how would you feel?
Provided I'm not actually cheating. Where there's so little trust, like how do you
And
then go
that's the thing,
forward?
it demonstrates like a huge cavern of disconnect between the two partners.
It's a big play to make at that time.
You got to
of the
be
game.
pretty sure.
Gee whiz. So we're gonna trundle through some swinging stories, and I suppose I want to say to our dear readers is try not to point and laugh, please. I mean, every now and then things you're unfamiliar with will crop up, different lifestyles, etc., and we can go, ooh, giggle. Isn't it funny what they're doing over there? But I think this show is important that we try and understand at least. You don't have to like the thing that we're talking about, but at least understand.
And you might like it. And
you might
okay.
like it. And the bonus, you might get an extra little kick
We're
in your
just
week.
about education in this podcast, and I like listen, and gossip and stories and talking about stuff that other people do.
But there's a difference between going like, oh wow, I could never do that, and be like, oh wow, no one should ever do that.
No one should ever do that.
Absolutely.
So if you want a bit of background on who Cindy is and everything like that, go back to the other episode. If you haven't listened, go back, listen to Cindy and the Swingerverse. And I'm going to jump straight into. So the first, we had a little bit of a rundown on why she chose the type of lifestyle and what her and her husband, like what they're okay with and what they're not okay with. And we did 3 different swing fails. So today, we're on to swing fail number 4.
Excellent.
All right. I'm not going to read the title of this one either because it gives away way too much.
All right.
Okay. I'll start this by saying that since this was the first house party that we'd ever been to, we've been to so many more since then, and I have not ever found myself in this, I'm not going to give it away, in this weird position again. But this is always one of the stories that makes people smile and cringe, and in COVID times start hyperventilating and inhaling hand sano. This was, and it says sano, and I love it. This was way before the Great Plague. Now, private parties are great. You can catch up with old friends and you meet new ones, and this one was our first, and we knew a sum total of 1 person who had become a regular playmate of ours, S, and who thought it was time that he brought us along to meet more people, knowing that we'd fit in socially really well with this group. He was right, and to this day, we are still friends with a number of people that we met at this first party. Now, it's important that you are respectful of people's homes when invited to a private party. This involves
Good life advice.
Yes,
just in general.
Just in general.
Yep.
Just respect other people's shit. Bad choice of words. This involves not being overly noisy, especially if there are close neighbours, because you don't want to out somebody either if you're at someone's house. Not going into rooms that the hosts have locked off, and having sex only on the surfaces that the hosts provide for that purpose. It goes without saying, or maybe not, that you should clean up after yourself and your rubbish, aka condoms and tissues, go in the bins provided in each room, use towels, go into a laundry basket. We are clean people in some ways.
Oh yeah, I think that's, again, good life advice. If you make a mess, clean it up,
Yes.
sexual or otherwise.
Absolutely. So when I got off the bed after making my acquaintance with a new guy and my bare foot hit a slimy thing on the carpeted floor,
Yeah.
I naturally assumed it to be a condom that someone had dropped on the ground earlier. Now, being a good citizen and wanting to impress the kind hosts, I picked it up to put in the bin. But
Well
it
done.
was not
Yes.
a condom.
What could it possibly... No.
It was a little human poo.
Yep.
No.
It was poo.
No.
Just a little, huh?
Yeah.
What? On carpet?
And now I had it in my hand, looking at the guy I had just been enjoying
And between
the
your
company
toes
of.
as well. She stood as well. Oh, God.
Sexy.
No.
Yes.
No, we've reached my limit.
He's out. He's flipped the table. He's gone. So, yes. And just let that sink
That's
in a
rough.
bit more.
Yeah, good.
And if you have ever had R-rated sex with a stranger and then coquettishly picked up a human poo that
Yeah.
you mistook for a condom, you'll understand that there is no seductive way that you can leave the room.
I
don't know about that.
Look, I'm not sure what sort of comedy you could fit this into, but I'm running through a number of like funny outcomes of you trying to pass it off as sexy.
You're doing
it's
them.
like, whoopsie daisy.
Whoopsie doopsie.
Yours or mine?
Oh, no.
Zane's
No. My skin is crawling. And then
I assume it's from an activity that neither of them were involved with.
the being that it was a surprise that it was there, I would probably say yes.
Okay, good.
So Cindy continues, in hindsight, I should have just popped it in the bin, but I also needed to wash my hands afterwards and therefore I needed to leave the room and quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I opted for strolling intensively out of the room like I had very fucking important business meeting that I'd suddenly remembered and was late for, and then proceeded to stand in line for the toilet because there was one toilet and 60 or so people
60
in
people?
the house.
That's a huge party for one house.
with a little poo.
Why would I would be
nestled
I think
in my hand.
In that situation, you're definitely within your rights to go, excuse me, I really need to get in before any of you.
I would just be going to the kitchen and washing it off. I know that you
Yeah.
shouldn't have poop in the kitchen, but
Yeah,
any
Still,
sink
yeah.
available with any kind of
or
dishwashing, anything.
straight out into traffic because you've just picked up. You've just picked
any
up.
garden.
Even
Any
outside,
garden, yeah.
wipe your hand on the grass. Oh my God.
I wouldn't be doing small talk about the layout of the house.
Altogether, Cindy's holding it together pretty well.
Yes.
I don't think I would
Cindy's
be
a
holding it
woman
together
on a
this well.
mission. So Cindy says, I got a little poo nestled in the palm of my hand. And I'm meeting new people who are keen to introduce themselves to the couple that one
shake
of the
hands.
regulars had vouched for as being super cool, fun people. And I did not feel super cool or particularly fun because, in capital letters, I had someone else's poo in my hand. Anyway, I finally got a chance to dispose of it, and I all but amputated my hand to make sure that it was sanitized.
Yep, rightfully so.
Yep. Despite the minor social trauma I suffered at the time, it's still my favourite go-to story when we're meeting new playmates to tell them that this stuff can be really awkward.
I suppose it's good. You don't want the full sunshine and lollipops picture of anything you're getting into, right? You need to know the darker
This is
corners.
what I wanted to say on a previous episode but didn't say, is that like every bad experience is a really good story, and sometimes telling a story of when something happened that was terrible when you're about to do something really scary makes people laugh and be a lot more at ease with what's going on.
Yeah, because like it's going to be hard to get something worse than that happening at any particular encounter.
Like, I mean, yeah. It's yeah. So now you know why I didn't want to spoil the title.
No.
'cause-
And it's not even a good if someone points it out. Like, why are you holding that poo? She thought she was picking up a condom, so it's not
Yeah.
like I'm holding up this poo because I thought I was picking up a used condom. It's not like there's no escape.
But what do you do if someone
There's
comes up
no-
and goes, "Oh, you're into poop play? Let's go in this room."
I mean,
Like,
that's
High
something you
five.
can
that's
get
something
past
that
with
could
words.
actually happen.
But also, like, yeah, people might think that you're propositioning.
Yes,
that.
that's right.
Yeah.
dear,
at least
oh
I went to
dear.
shake her hands. Nice to meet you. Okay, now we're on to swing foul number 5.
Okay.
Good.
I'm not going to read the title of this one either. Jay was a lovely guy in his mid-30s with a girlfriend of 4 years who was also in the scene. They had an open relationship. I checked very thoroughly. Now, if you'll remember the first kind of foray into the Swingerverse, I think it was fail number 2, where Cindy and her husband were playing with somebody who said that they were
Yes.
single, but they were
that's right.
actually engaged and also quite a prominent
It's
person.
such an easy thing to get mixed up. Single, engaged to someone else. Liz. I mean,
Technically, I'm not single, but I'm
Yeah.
also, not single.
Yeah, yeah. So Cindy says, I checked very thoroughly after, I think she called him Ab, because he had abs.
Yeah.
And she was all on board with the setup. She was invited to play with us, but she declined very sweetly and inoffensively. I found out later that, this is in brackets, I found out later that she doesn't play with old people. Kind of a kick in the guts, but okay, lovely. One day you'll get old, and so get ready for that disappointing time in your life.
Yeah, well, look, I get it. I get that that's discrimination and it's a bit of a kick in the
But
guts.
also-
But also, when you're young,
You've got preferences.
you're
and
gonna
doors
make
are
the most
open.
of it.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. There are old people go like, I wasted my youth and beauty
yeah.
with not taking advantage of my youth and beauty.
Yeah, right here.
And while it is like it's tough to hear like, I'm sorry, you're too old for me.
Yeah.
Like you said, she'll get older,
Yep.
and then she probably won't be too old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
I don't. That's the same reasoning. I don't lament really beautiful actors or their time is now. Later on, when they don't have the personality
They'll
or any
come
looks,
crawling
it'll all
back.
come crawling back down, and you got to develop a personality like the rest of us. Sucked in. Anyway,
Nice. So he came over in the evening. Hub was not home. Hub is her husband. We established that in the first episode. Husband was not home as he was encouraging me to explore more on my own and was attending a gig with the plan that he would come home later and join in if appropriate. Jay walked in the door all pumped up and ready to go, and then nothing happened. There was no response. Because I'm not into shaming people who aren't able to perform. I made him some nice hot chocolate and we sat in our kitchen bench as I chatted to him and I assured him that this was absolutely all good.
Okay, so it was like they attempted
Tempted.
sex and
Nothing
sex
happened,
didn't happen.
yes.
It wasn't like
Yes.
they were sitting awkwardly on the couch.
No,
didn't know how to
no,
initiate.
no.
Okay.
So it sounds like poor Jay had a bit of a overthink moment
Yeah.
where things weren't working properly. He kept telling me that he found me really attractive and he was interested, but he had an exhausting afternoon and was just really tired. Why? Because his girlfriend, as she was willing to let him play outside their relationship, had a rule that we had not been told about. The rule was that Jay must have sex with her
First, yeah.
before he gets to play with others. So the guy had been in bed with her for about 5 solid hours before coming to our
Before you're allowed
house,
out.
and he was physically, mentally, and sexually drained.
I'm just gonna say this: like his girlfriend seems to know what she wants.
It absolutely worked. Wow.
Kind of manipulative, but I'm going to
Yeah.
give her props if it's an insecurity thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
If it's
oh,
an insecurity thing, it's an insecurity
Yeah.
thing. But
I'll let you sleep outside of the relationship, Buster Brown, but not after until I'm
Yeah,
done with you.
yeah. You got to go through me
let's
first.
see if you can.
And
I dare you.
It worked. Oh, so sly.
He was so tired that I suggested he have a quick nap. So I tucked him into bed
That's
and let
adorable.
him
Kinda
sleep
cute,
it off while I caught up on a book that I was reading. Hub came home expecting to find me having a lot of fun. When Jay woke up slightly disoriented about an hour later, Hub had a gentle chat with him about that rule. And now perhaps, while ever it was part of their lifestyle, playing separately might not be for them.
Yeah.
There's a postscript to this. They have since broken up and he's since been in contact. But we have not been able to synchronize calendars as yet.
That is
not yet.
always the hardest part of being a swinger right here.
Mm.
Is having to manage other
organization.
people's calendars.
Yeah. All right. So
I like that story. I like that story as a whole. As a whole.
I think it speaks really well of Cindy.
Yes.
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
Like,
Terrific.
okay, yeah, no. It's like, have a nap.
Have a
I
nap,
mean,
yeah.
if you're not going to have sex with someone, hot chocolate and a nap's a pretty
Yeah.
good consolation prize.
Great.
I mean, to people of a certain age,
How dare you say a
a
certain
nap.
I'd choose it. All right. So we're going to finish off with swing foul number 6. There is more, but number 7 is a very long story. So
Okay,
that's
Great.
a whole
Yeah,
separate
we'll-
episode, part 3.
We'll be back, readers. Don't worry.
Okay, so swing foul number 6. I'm not going to read out the title of
Okay.
this one either. Okay, so
I just want to take this moment to thank Cindy for writing these out with titles and chapters, etc.
it's beautiful. It's so
Perfect.
well laid out. It's so well organized that I, by reading the title, know how to address the story I'm about to tell the boys without ruining it for myself. All right. Hub was interested in a lady. We'll call her L. She was stunning, outgoing, lots of fun. Her partner, B, was not.
Yeah.
Any of those things, or
Yeah, just-
like
just
the
one.
outgoing one, or
Just was not.
just wasn't
Just
okay.
no.
Wasn't. They invited us out for dinner. I agreed and was resolute that I would take one for the team so that Hub could have fun with her. It was an awkward situation from the start. Hub was clearly interested in her and she was on her phone texting back and forth with someone else? Question mark, question mark, question mark in brackets.
That's an interesting dynamic for any social interaction, regardless of sexual intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt distinctly left out since B sat there very silent, almost petulant, with a look of thunder on his face. Maybe he felt he had to take one for the team as well. Don't put yourself down like that.
But
I don't know if anyone's interested in anyone in this situation.
That's very well. It seems we know one person is interested in one other person,
Yeah,
but
and
somehow they've agreed to it.
Yeah.
everyone else is taking one for the team, it seems, in the dynamic. Okay.
After about the 10 millionth text ding, probably it was only about 5 or so, I joked that whoever was on the phone seemed to be taking up a lot of her attention. I love that she says joked. I'm like, it's one of those jokes
Yeah,
that's not a
there's
joke.
not a joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're popular. Get off your fucking phone. Subtext. She made up excuses about it being about her children. Then her phone started ringing and she left the table to take the call, leaving us with the lump, who, in all honesty, I'd forgotten about until he spoke up and said, "It will be Master. She was not meant to go out tonight."
Oh.
Okay, another
see,
interesting
yes.
dynamic of a relationship.
Cue vinyl record scratch. Wait, what? B then gets us up to speed. In fact, he became remarkably animated in her absence, and I wondered if this guy was in a Stockholm syndrome situation.
Yeah, right.
So they are into the BDSM scene. She has a master. It's a completely separate guy to B. B is what's known as a cuckold. Now, cuckold, isn't it? That's someone
It's
who
me watching or enjoying someone else having sex with my girlfriend, right?
Oh, it's you.
I
It's
would
you
be,
personally.
I
Yeah.
would be the
Only
guy.
Tom.
Only
Right.
Tom is
me.
the only cuckold.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the only one. in
right.
the
So
world.
it's someone who enjoys seeing or
Their partner
with other people.
With other people.
Okay.
Or like being taken advantage of.
Right.
Yes.
She likes, and I don't know what this means either, so maybe we might want to Google and hope that we don't get flagged for inappropriate. She likes impact play.
That is, it's violence. So like being hit.
Oh, shit.
Impact
Okay.
play. So usually not to harm, but to
Okay.
imitate that
All
sort
right.
of, at least the safe kind.
Okay. Master had told her not to go out tonight or she would be punished. The phone call would be from Master, and there is a possibility that Master will now want us all to go to his house.
Is this the Wizard of Oz? He's going to no power.
I feel like there needs to be some chatting about this.
Yes,
It's
so-
like surprise white van territory. Like
Yeah.
surprise BDSM is not.
Just surprise involvement in someone else's kink is
Yeah.
yes.
a lack of consent.
Surprise
Yes.
kink.
Yeah.
No.
No good.
Hub looked at me and I flashed the signal for get me the fuck out of this fucking situation stat or we will be divorced in a New York minute, and you know I have other options. That's a good look. That's a lot to say in a look.
Good colour.
He got the message and started to wind the evening up, just waiting for her to get back to the table to bid our farewells. She came back after about 20 minutes in a very, very flustered manner and asked me for the car keys. He gave them to her. She left. And B stayed. What the fuck were we meant to do with this guy? Like, is this guy our problem now? She says.
So there was no announcement of like, I'll be back, or you stay
Nope.
here, or you get an Uber.
Give me
or-
the keys, I'm going.
Please watch
I go
my
by.
husband. For
You go
me.
with these nice people.
And he has no car now.
Okay. Yeah.
We dropped him home in relative silence on the extreme other end of town to where we actually live. No one took anything for the team that night. And there's a little footnote. Note, I don't yuck on other people's yums, but BDSM is not for me and I don't feel comfortable being effectively dumped into someone else's playstyle without consent. We were one step ahead of you, Cindy. We're absolutely on the same page. For the record, we were not asked to go to this guy's house, but in the moment, B gave me the impression that this was going to happen or that L would get some sort of punishment.
Yeah. Yeah. BDSM is one of those things that people think of when they think of like when they do try to outlaw certain sexual practices. They think of the more extreme part where people can get hurt. Unfortunately, it is people who are that it does inherently involve a power dynamic, and therefore people can take advantage of that.
I'm not like it's when it becomes actual physical damaging pain that the line is not.
But that's the thing, like where does
like
that
it,
like
well,
what
yeah.
if someone likes being choked, like that's still dangerous. It can be
I
deadly, but
suppose.
it's not going to, done right, it's not going to leave a bruise or harm you in an ongoing way. Same with like electroplay or any number of things. But like that's the thing, done poorly, it can end really poorly.
Levels. There are levels to that I think I'd be okay with. Don't listen, Mum. But not none of the serious like the whole impact play sounds. I don't know. It's scary, and it's the power imbalance for me.
And that's the thing, like obviously, no, B was the
guy.
The guy.
L
was
the girl.
was the girl. So obviously L is into that power dynamic and being told what to do, and sometimes being the brat and doing what she isn't told so that she will then be punished, and like that plays into the whole dynamic.
Yeah, but don't make somebody else get punished. Surprise punishment's assault, you guys.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, like I'm not sure what the dynamic was that they were expecting two entire strangers to come in on a slave dynamic. Like that's
They
I've
probably
never
were just
heard of that
thinking,
before.
well, the master said so it must happen. Like
The master said, "I must bring you home
yeah,
and
it's
have
just
sex."
what's
with you."
happening. That's just get in the surprise white van. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
It's like just because some guy says so, I'm not gonna have sex with you if I don't want to.
And don't leave your boring husband with other people. In the end, at the table, like if you leave and with no explanation from this dinner, like they're at dinner, right? There was four of them, and then just to go and leave this couple with your. It's just odd.
But maybe
behavior.
that's part of the kink where he's sitting talking to other people, thinking about all of the things
he's
that his
been put in an uncomfortable situation.
Maybe that is part of the
If I was
excitement.
Cindy, I would have left that. I would have been out that door.
I
half
wouldn't
an
have
hour
given him a
before we-
lift
Yeah,
home. I would have
yeah.
been like, Uber's a thing.
You
You,
don't know
chose
this.
to give her your keys.
Yep.
Now you're being punished
Yeah,
for your actions.
that's right. I don't know.
Pay
This,
for that Uber.
I don't know this man a single thing.
So
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I'm not going to make rules for Cindy, but like I would think that if you were going to be engaged with another couple, you would ask if there was a cuck kink in play there.
Yeah.
Something.
Because that's obviously going to be part of their sexual experience of the group play.
yeah.
So yeah, again, you want to know what people are into and whether you're going to be voluntarily
Communication
involved in
yet
it.
again. Like you can. I can't word today. I've still, honestly, guys, it's like been a month and a half and I still have really bad brain fog post-COVID. So every now and then words will just fly out of my head. But what I'm trying to say is that when you communicate your boundaries with someone, you're more likely to find people who are on the same page and not put people in awkward situations. Like you will find someone who likes what you like. And if someone doesn't like what you like, it's not on them to conform to what you like. Like you just can't surprise kink.
Yeah.
Don't surprise kink
No,
on anybody.
yep. I think that's I don't know if we are doing lessons learned on this
Yes,
episode, but
always.
that's a big one for all of us today. Gee whiz.
I think that's a really good example of like you can't give consent if you're not informed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's one of my number one, I guess, rules for life. It's not just about sexual consent, but if you're in a relationship and somebody doesn't want to get married and you do want to get married, and you need all of the information to make your own decisions. So you can't withhold important information that might change somebody's mind just because you don't want to change somebody's mind. That's not how life should work or at all.
Negative news or bad news or even information you don't want to hear. It's still data. It's still information to use going forward. I want to commend Cindy on her level-headedness and the coolness in a time of crisis. She was at a party where you don't want to be making a kerfuffle, right? And to have people look down their nose at you. But she picked up a poo in the middle of a party and she stayed pretty calm.
Dealt with it like a champ.
Dealt with
Yeah.
it like a champ. So there's my life lesson. Sometimes you never know
Life
when
hands you shit.
Yes, and you
got to deal with it
gotta deal with it.
efficiently.
You just can't let go until it's time.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, here's my lesson from that story. Don't shit on the carpet. And if you
Yes.
do, clean it up yourself.
Yeah.
If you
Clean
can.
up your own shit. That is not that's metaphorical
Yep.
as well as literal.
Yep.
Guys, if you make a fucking mess, literally or figuratively, clean it the fuck up.
That's a real rough situation.
Don't
to
let
be in.
someone else hold your shit.
That was rough. Well, collectively, dear readers, I think we thank Cindy for sending in these stories,
I'm
sending in the
loving
research.
looking into this kind of world, and I would encourage anybody else who has any kind of viewpoints or stories from any kind of sexual perspective
Yeah,
or
kinks,
kink
yeah,
or
whatever.
lifestyle. We want to know about it. We want to talk about it. We want it out of the shadows. We don't need to out you. We just want more people to know about the way that stuff works and how it works for you.
Because it's a lot easier for people to be ultra sex positive if they know that there's no real stigma surrounding it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And more people might go, hang on a minute, like people who are confused about what they like might hear something on the podcast and go, actually, maybe I should try that. Maybe that's why I've been confused. You know, we're all about getting info into your brains, in through your ears, so that you can make informed consent decisions about the kinds of stuff you might like.
It's something that someone who's looking into the swinger scene might have gone to a club and gone like, wow, this is not my scene. But now house parties might be your scene because
yeah.
they work for Cindy.
Exactly. Just not ones with shit on the floor.
So if you have any stories, any questions, and you can't be into the studio, you can't make it into Brisbane to be on a main studio. Good Lord, a main episode.
My brain fog is catching.
Yes, it is. Your story can be written in like Cindy's done. We'll share it on the air for you like that. Otherwise, if it's short and sweet, we've got quickies. We got little quickie episodes of Ghosts of Boyfriends Past where we can read your stories back to you, or we have question themes minisodes as well. So send them in to ghostsofboyfriendspast@gmail.com.
Or join the Ghosts of Boyfriends Past group therapy group, and you can put your questions up anonymously or otherwise there. But until then, keep writing in your stories because, as I said, every single bad experience makes a really great story.